Hey there, welcome to the channel. My name is James, and here at 20th and 21st Movies, we are about all things cinema. All right, I'm in the car today, as you can see, and I am on the go today. I am doing the dad thing, y'all. I am out here. I just dropped my son off at Six Flags over Georgia with he and several of his friends in celebration of his 17th birthday earlier this week. So happy birthday to my son. Very excited for him. They're all new seniors and they're whooping it up at Six Flags. So while I wait on the call from them to go back and pick them up, I thought I would take a few minutes and share my thoughts on a recent release from the Criterion Collection on Blu-ray. This came out this past week as of the time I'm recording this video. Is Spine 1273. It's an Egyptian film from 1958, and it is Cairo Station. This is Cairo Station from Egyptian director Youssef Chahine, and it is a very fascinating film. So I'm gonna make this a short and sweet video. Again, I'm on the road. I'm sort of multitasking here, but I had a chance to pop this in the player this week, and I definitely want to share with you what I think about this movie. What does it look like on Blu-ray? This is a 4K restoration of the original camera negative, and I love seeing these restorations of these old black and white films. This is, again, a film from the late 1950s. It's in black and white. It's got this new 4K restoration. They were able to go to the original camera negative. So how does it look? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the supplements and whether or not this is a release worth picking up and adding to your collection. So on the other side of this, we're going to get into it. Let's talk about Cairo Station. Let's do this. All right, we're talking Cairo Station, the new Blu-ray release from the Criterion Collection. This is from director Youssef Chahine. He is one of the most celebrated directors in Egyptian and Middle Eastern cinema history, and I am just now learning more about this filmmaker. When this title was announced back in May that it would be part of Criterion's August lineup, I was very excited, not because I knew anything about the movie, because I didn't, not because I had heard the director, because I had never heard of Youssef Chahine. I got excited because this was an opportunity to learn more about a film and a director that I had never heard of. It was part of that discovery that I love that I get from a lot of these Criterion Collection titles, and very rarely am I disappointed, and I was not disappointed with this one right here. This is a very fascinating film from this director. So let's go ahead and get into it with my first slide. I got my slides ready, got my beautiful MacBook Pro right here. It is beautiful. Check it out. Isn't it beautiful? It's absolutely gorgeous. So anyway, I got my slides. Let's get into them now. So Cairo Station, Criterion Collection Blu-ray review. That's what we are looking at right here. And it's really exciting stuff. This is an Egyptian film. It's my first foray into Egyptian cinema. So I'm very excited to share my thoughts on this title with you today. Talking about the film itself, this is director Youssef Chahine on the left there, you see. This is him in 1978. And you see an older picture of him in the middle, and then you see the movie poster, original movie poster from the late 1950s of Cairo Station. This film actually stars Youssef Chahine himself as one of the main characters. It also stars Hind Rostrum and Farid Chowki. So very nice cast. This film is from 1958. It's an Egyptian film. The language is Arabic, English subtitles. It is an absolute landmark in Middle Eastern cinema history. Absolute landmark. This is a film that, like so many other films, when it was first released, was not very successful at the box office. But ever since, it has grown in appreciation and acclaim. And I'm so happy that Criterion has given it this wonderful restoration treatment and brought it to the fore today for people to discover this film, like myself, who had never heard of it before. I now have a piece of Egyptian cinema in my collection from the 1950s, and very excited to have Cairo Station in my collection. Let me take a moment to read the back of the case. It says, Youssef Chahine established his international reputation with this masterpiece, which, though initially a commercial failure in Egypt, would become one of the most influential and celebrated works in all of Arab cinema. The director himself stars as Kanawi, a disabled newspaper hawker whose obsession with a sultry drink seller, Hind Rostrum, known as the Marilyn Monroe of Arabia, beautiful woman, leads to tragedy of operatic proportions on the streets of Cairo, Egypt. Blending elements of neorealism with provocative noir melodrama, Cairo Station is a work of raw populist poetry that explores the individual's search for a place in Egypt's new post-revolutionary political order. So, very fascinating films about this man who's a newspaper hawker, and he kind of has voyeuristic and stalker tendencies. So it's a very interesting film. It touches on some pretty controversial themes that we'll get into, and it also has touches of neorealism, which I think is absolutely fascinating. So again, the plot overview, it follows crippled newspaper vendor Kunawi. Here you see the director Youssef Chahine there with Hen Rostrom, the woman that he becomes infatuated with. And it's an infatuation that leads, oftentimes this happens, that infatuation leads to obsession, and obsession leads to not so good things. It combines melodrama, neorealism, and social critique. Now, when you think about Shahine's filmmaking approach, this film was beautifully shot, and it really showcases different aspects of life in Cairo around this train station at that period. And this film blends documentary-like realism with psychological tension. You have really sharp editing and location shooting in Cairo's train station, and a bold handling of taboo topics. So when this film was first released, Cairo Station, it shocked audiences in Egypt. Youssef Chahine tackled subjects that were considered taboo at the time, like poverty, sexual repression, obsession, and violence. And all were presented in an unflinching, realistic style in this film. So the film's portrayal of social outcasts and its climactic descent into violence challenged conservative norms, and it faced censorship and backlash before gradually being recognized as the masterpiece that it is today. So it's one of those things that took on some pretty taboo subjects, and at the time it suffered in terms of backlash, but over time people have come to appreciate this film so much more. As far as comparison to Italian neorealism, this is where this film is not exactly a copy of Italian neorealism, but it is shot on a real location. So you have Cairo's bustling station and not studio sets. So you're actually shooting this film on location. So focus on working class lives and everyday struggles. One of the main characters is trying to fight to form and organize a union, a labor union, to fight for better wages and fight against the power of big companies. And then you have naturalistic performances with raw emotional edge, echoes of bicycle thieves in Rome Open City. And Chahine added thriller intensity, and which was pretty unique to Egyptian cinema. So there are some similarities to films that are in that Italian neo-realism space, like Bicycle Thieves and Rome Open City. So that is very, very interesting. Now, let's talk a little bit about I almost said 4K. So let's talk a little bit about how this film, Cairo Station, looks on Blu-ray. This is a new 4K restoration of the original camera negative, and this film looks very beautiful. It's a black and white film, beautifully cleaned up, nice detail. It is a very pleasing looking image overall. There are a number of dark scenes, and while you don't get an incredible amount of detail in the shadows, as you might get if this was like a 4K release with Dolby Vision and really getting that extended dynamic range and treatment of the blacks and the grayscale, you're not getting quite that level, but you are getting a very clean, very rich, very detailed image that is beautifully restored. It looks very nice on the Blu-ray format. So I have no complaints about how this release looks on the Blu-ray format. The picture looks good. The audio sounds very good. You get an uncompressed binaural soundtrack. And while it's not a 5.1 or a Dolby Atmos track, you don't really need that for a film like this. This film sounds absolutely wonderful. Of course, on the inside, you see the inside of the case here. I will show the art or the pictures, because the pictures are beautiful on the inside here. The picture's worth 1,000 words, and the pictures here are beautiful on the inside of this case. So very nice looking pictures there for the inside of this case. And then you get this very nice fold out, which you see Youssef Chahine's character, Kawanawi. He's a voyeur, and he's a stalker, which is very interesting. You have a very nice essay in here from Youssef Chahine of Time in the City that is very nice. He talks a lot about the career of Youssef Chahine and his place in Egyptian film history, and talks about his beginnings when he had his directorial debut, I believe, in 1950. He talks about his time making Cairo Station and how he had over 50 to 60 years of cinematic experience, and really just does a nice job summarizing the career of this director, Youssef Chahine, that I want to explore more of his filmography. So very, very nice. Spends a good amount of time talking about this specific film here, which I think is good, Cairo Station, but definitely talks a lot about Youssef Chahine. Don't shut off yet. Youssef Chahine, the director. So absolutely wonderful essay, and this is a very nice looking package. Now, as far as the actual features on here, very nice features here. You do get a new interview with Chahine, which I thought was very, very good. This is the same guy, and I believe he is Egyptian, and you see him doing a discussion of Youssef Chahine. So he wrote the essay that's in here, and he does a sit-down interview that was from 2025. Then you have Chahine Why, 2009, a documentary on the director and Cairo Station that's very good. You also have an excerpt from Shahine's appearance at the 1998 Midnight Sun Film Festival. So you get some nice features on here. This is not a loaded edition. There's no audio commentary. You don't get much in the way of visual essays. But you do get this new interview with Chahine, who wrote this excellent essay in here. You get a documentary on Chahine, and you get another feature on here at his appearance at the 1998 Midnight Sun Film Festival. So overall, very, very nice edition. It's a solid edition from the Criterion Collection on Blu-ray. I would definitely recommend this on a sale if you are interested in international cinema and learning more about directors from around the world. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on this title, Cairo Station, from the Criterion Collection. It comes in at spine number 1273. But let me know in the comments section below, what do you think about this title, Cairo Station? Have you seen it? Is this a title that you're considering picking up in an upcoming Criterion Collection sale? Do you have an interest in international cinema? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time at the movies. Time to go pick up my son. I just got a text from him. Gonna head down to Six Flags and get back home and get ready for church tomorrow and all the beautiful things that we do. But hope you have a blessed one, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.